Good morning. Are you watching this and you're thinking, oh my goodness, she's in her pyjamas? And yes, that's probably not appropriate by the time you watch this at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, is it? So let me tell you, it's Monday morning, it's pouring hard with rain out there, and I'm up at silly o'clock because I'm nervous and anxious and a little bit worried about putting this video out this morning. The reason I'm feeling like that is because of yesterday. So yesterday we returned to our church build. Well, some churches returned to their church buildings. I think it's the second week we could have been in the buildings. It takes a little while to get all the paperwork in place, the risk assessments signed off and so on. It's not an easy decision to open a church, and we're working very hard and going as quick as we can to get as many of them open as we want to. Anyway, that's all a bit of a by the by. I was back in church physically yesterday, and we did our first service in the field at St Bride's, Netherwent. And it rained and it winded and it was sunny and it was but it was lovely, and it was really wonderful to see people out in front of me. We filmed the service and made sure that we included those at home in the way that we conducted the service, and I came straight home after we'd finished at St Bride's to upload the video, put a nice little picture on the front, and make sure there was a Sunday service online before lunchtime for all those who can't or won't or might but haven't yet come back to church, back to physical church. Gosh, we're learning to talk in new language, aren't we? Anyway, so that was about 11:30, and I sat in front of the computer with a cup of tea, ready to upload it all. Should take 10-15 minutes. 4 o'clock I finished. Oh, I was just a little bit beside myself. It had taken me over 4 hours. It wasn't my fault, which is not a great comfort, I can tell you. Will came home to do the same and had very similar problems, and I had contact from other people who use YouTube to stream services saying actually it was glitchy for us all. But it was incredibly frustrating because I was so keen to have that service up at about the time that it would have been if I hadn't gone out for the morning. So I'm sorry to those of you that watched and watched out and waited and waited and waited. We did get there in the end, and the service recording wasn't that great because of the wind, but we're indoors next week. Anyway, all of that is a very long story to say that this morning I woke up at 6 o'clock and thought, oh, what if I can't get that up there by 9? Well, I'll go and record it early, and then I've got plenty of time. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just here because I'm anxious about what happened yesterday. How stupid is that? It's also incredibly human, and I know that we all get anxious about things that we don't need to, which is why I'm sharing you my anxiety this morning. It may not work when I go to upload this. It may go horribly wrong, but do you know what? It's a 5-minute video, and we'll cope, won't we? People understand. I was reminded of something I know in one of the letters in the back end of the Bible. It's a letter to the Philippians, and you're thinking, which bit of the Bible has got Jesus telling us not to get worried about when the internet doesn't work properly for us? And that's a good question. There's a little tiny bit in Philippians here that says, do not worry about everything. It doesn't. It says, do not worry about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. That's Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. Do not worry about anything, but everything in prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And that's what I'm going to do with the worry. Give it to God and trust that whatever happens, it'll be okay. And I'm going to kind of keep that sense of peace for the rest of the day. I've got another risk assessment to start today and a couple of meetings, and it's going to be okay. We're going to just be at peace. So I invite you to join me in the peace and not let anything stress you or worry you, and certainly don't let anything get out of proportion, because I think probably my fear about uploading this has got a little bit out of proportion. So there we go. If you see it later, you will know success has happened. The other thing is virtual summer show. I've had loads of entries and I was so tired and frustrated last night. I've not finished looking at them all, but I will finish the judging of those today, so keep your eyes peeled for announcements if you entered, because there have been some cracking entries, and there will be some people who have won little categories, and I'll talk to you about that later maybe. Hey, have a good day. Don't worry about anything, just give it all to God and all will be well. And I shall talk to you again soon. Lots of love. God bless. Bye bye.